Hello, I'm Auburn Heinrichs. I'm the CNC Machining Director here at Gallatin College. CNC Machining is pretty much the creation and making of just all of those random things you interact with in your life. You know, things like your car, the equipment and tooling that made your cell phone, the desk at your school, pretty much anything that's not welded or grown at some level, way, shape, or form was CNC machined or machining made the tools that made what you have. So this is kind of a crazy program. It's one of the unique ones here in the country in the fact that we start from assuming you have no background in this at all. We go from making small parts day one. We start machining. Like you would actually be running this machine on day one. So we start there, and in the course of 9 months, you make about 30 distinct parts. Your numbers are a lot higher than that, but we set up, program, and machine these parts. So you're actually making these things in the real world. So going from something like this to something like this. So it's kind of fun to actually watch what's in your mind, to be able to tangibly create it in front of you, and then have this machine here take the math and programming you've done and put together to then machine this out and create something that's real and tangible in the world. Going from a part that's worth a couple cents to something that might be worth $20, $30, $500, just based on the knowledge you put in and the equipment you use. Our students make different tooling that they'll use in here. They'll make vices, they'll make handles for vices, they make some measurement equipment, not stuff that you would necessarily see in the real world, but the same skills that they use to make those things are the things that are used to make rifles, that are used to make tripods, stands, camera components, all different kinds of things. Here, specifically in the Gallatin Valley, not even looking any farther than that, we have people who are making things from ketchup stirring machines, to archery parts, to parts for satellites, to long distance rifles, to components for self-driving cars, to, that's just a small sample of the different things they're making around here. Kind of some of the weirdest ones are there's parts being made in the Gallatin Valley to go in monkey brains. This is computer numeric controlled machining. So as they're in here, about 50% of their time is spent on a computer. 50% of their time is spent on the machine actually making parts. So that combination is part of what's a challenge, so you have to be equally comfortable. That being said, we've had students who came in who didn't know how to check their email successfully complete the program. So you need to be willing to learn, desiring not to be perfect, but to be careful. Like that detail-oriented helps. Perfectionist, that might be a little hard, because in our world we want precision machine, not perfection machining, and they're slightly different. Coming out of high school, very few people have a really good understanding of what any one of the jobs are. So really going in with an open mind as they look at different programs. Like if your desire is to actually make things with your hands, this would be a great program for you. If your desire is, or the welding program here, or something along those lines. If your desire is really to kind of be more on the design end, something like a design drafting program, but really think about, okay, what does the job look like? If you can, find someone who's done the job. Come talk to one of the advisors, come talk to me. I love showing off what I have. Even if you can't come in, you can call me and talk to me on a phone. Really seek out people who are doing the work. And don't just kind of focus on the primary jobs, like the first job you hear about. Well, people said you'd be good at engineering. Okay, go be an engineer. Well, what does an engineer do? What's the job look like? What's those things? One of the things that's nice about this program and a lot of the programs at Gallatin College is they can be both a good long-term career job, but also a good transitional job. You can come here for a year or two, get a good career job that you can have as you transition to something you might want more long-term. A lot of people think the first thing I pursue out of high school has to be what my long-term job is, and it's not necessarily true. I had 12 students being asked for by another company last week. The week before that, I had a couple other companies contacted me. In the last 2 weeks, I've had 4 different companies asking for machines. A machinist right now with moderate training can go to any city the size of Bozeman or larger and find a job within a week. That's at any city in the country. Super high demand. We are not filling as many roles as are being created. And this is the thing to understand, is most of these are new jobs. These are not replacing somebody who's retiring. This is a legitimate new job. Here in our local area, that's even more so. We've had new jobs coming online. Most of the time when I get a phone call from a company, it's like, oh, who are you? You're a brand new company to me, you're doing something unique. And almost all of these jobs are lasting. So it's been really neat to see. People coming out of here have really actually covered a pretty broad spectrum. We've had people go into prototyping roles, machinist roles. I've had a couple who've gone into more design-related roles. Typical job description is as a machinist or a CNC programmer, CNC operator. For a lot of my students coming in, one of the things that's a real challenge for them as they do it is to be able to say, okay, I am gonna try this. Like, to come in really with that open, like, I am going to take ownership of my learning. Like, this is your chance to change that. Like, before, people have been saying, this is what you're going to learn, this is the classes you're going to take, this is what you're going to do. The moment you step in here, you're responsible for your learning. You're taking your steps to make your choice for what your career will be. And the result is, you can learn as fast and as much as you want, or you can take as little out of a program as you take. Regardless of what you do in school, that will make the difference. It's like, what will you take out of it? How much ownership will you take for what you're gonna learn? And those who do amazing. And their jobs show it. Those who don't, do okay. But that's really the difference.